we got
They're
a
all
quorum, yeah.
contiguous.
Everybody's here.
Everybody's
But
here.
this one
Okay.
hasn't been.
All right, everyone. Welcome to the June 22nd, 2022 Romeo Planning Commission meeting. Tonight's meeting is going to begin with a public hearing on the rezoning of a parcel at 32 Mile Road, 15523 32 Mile Road. Parcel ID 05-06-100-011. Are there any comments from the public? I don't hear anything.
Both of you?
Crickets. All right, if there are no comments, then we'll begin the regular part of the meeting with roll call.
Stegner,
Here.
Webb,
Here.
Care,
Here.
Grandstaff,
Here?
Smiles,
Here.
Stevens,
Here.
Hall,
Here.
and Fowler's no.
Okay, now we'll move on towards approval of tonight's agenda. Anybody want to make a motion or have any?
Motion.
Mr. Webb, motions.
Second.
Second. That's fine.
Second, Mr. Stevens, second. So before us, we have a vote on approval of the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous, Cindy.
Okay.
I guess I'm not supposed to actually do that, but, okay, approval of the meeting minutes from 5/5/22. Any changes?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Who second? Ms. Hall? Okay. Ms. Hall, okay. Motion before us is to approve the minutes of 5/5/22. All in favor? Aye. I believe it's unanimous again. All right. So now we move on to our public forum. Public is invited to make any comments they want, and that's not going to happen. There's not much public here. So we have a rezoning review from our property in question from Mr. Casson, who can't be here tonight, correct?
Yeah.
But everybody did receive his review in writing. And do you have comments? Anyone? No comments.
What,
Go ahead.
are you going to eliminate the structure that is there now, the house?
No, the current plans don't call for it. This is more just to kind of bring it in line with the other two parcels on the zoning, so for the flexible options. Right now, there's really no site plan or plans for the site to remain, as is.
Okay. And how are you dealing with the pond that is on that property?
That's kind of why one of the reasons we're here tonight. We gotta see what options we have or not with the property. As the R1 zoning as is, pretty limited, right, for use for a house, pretty much, right? So, should the rezoning, press go through, okay, now we can see if we can, make sense of the pond and drainage and doing something on the site. So, again, there's really no set plan for it right now, other than the applicant as you've seen before. The other adjacent sites is more just getting a hold of the property and then have it all uniformly zoned, so it's consistent with the area. And then should there be, hopefully some more uses or something that can be done with a lot of challenges, including the pond, for the site. But kind of pretty limited with the current zoning and trying to bring it again uniform with the other specific thought.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I believe when the parcels were annexed, there were 4 in total, correct? There was the one on the corner, there was one with the large yellow house,
Yeah.
there's the one we're talking about tonight, and then there's one behind the river. Those all went back to residential, correct?
Oh, I forgot about that, yes.
Yes, those all went back to residential. All right, so is there a plan at some point in time to request a rezoning on that parcel behind the river?
We don't control that property, full disclosure, so, but I think it's kind of a commercial operation now, if I recall. So I imagine they're, again, we have no interest of total speculation, but I imagine they would be coming forth for the same things as everything around the zone. It really is R1, it's kind of that spot zone. So, but again, we don't have any control and no plans really for it, because then we have the river and everything, so.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not sure, I guess.
Okay, and you are,
And I'm sorry, Justin did ask us 409 Shady Oaks and have the applicant
and just, you are aware of the wetlands and the 100-year floodplain and the potential,
Yeah, thank you. We've already been done looking at, with the wetland consultant and so forth, what can be done. Got relatively favorable what we thought we'd have on these first two parcels, but this one is, much more extensive too with the pond. So again, really we haven't made dollar or cents or plans out of, what it could be used for, but if it's gonna be used for something, it's probably not gonna be R1, so that's what we're trying to bring it for.
but you will, I mean,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
you'll mitigate or you'll,
Yeah, we're gonna absolutely not.
okay, we'll take care of.
And you want to make this industrial?
Yeah, so really looking at the corridor, given everything that's now in the village is all zoned industrial in the area, and then the municipality it left from, as well as the immediate surrounding two municipalities, everything is zoned industrial. So it's almost kind of a, I shouldn't use the word spot zoning, but it looks like that at the end of the day, kind of leftover. So, kind of like we've seen in either pub or private initiated rezoning in this sense, or sometimes we see from the municipality side, just kind of bring it more informed to really what's there, what the master plan is. Because let's face it, I don't think, even if this was approved or whatever, our one's not going to be there much longer for the use, because you're surrounded by industrial.
And
So
Mr.
given it fits with the corridor, the seven findings of fact, everything again is zoned industrial around it, said, okay, well, again, given now we have control moving forward the adjacent two properties, well, let's take a look at this one. Dan, I think is more stepping up and saying, hey, what can I do for the whole corridor to control options? No really, immediate plans, but, do good things, so, see if there's an option here to do something.
And my comment, so when the property was annexed, it automatically reverts, it automatically goes to the least intensive zoning, which would be residential. So, I mean, I understand the need to rezone it, and I understand too that it was industrial prior to being annexed.
Yes, thank you for saying that too.
Please, I didn't hear what you said.
When the property was annexed from Ray, but when it was Ray Township property, it was zoned industrial.
Right.
When the village did the annexation calls for the property to go to the least intensive zoning that the village had, which would be R1, which would be residential. So then to take it back to industrial, they have to come and request that rezoning is what they have to do.
Any further comments? Anyone want to make a motion on this?
What year was that?
What
What
year
year was
was,
that?
what year did they annex it? I believe it
Yeah,
was,
with the
I
annexation.
believe the annexation was final last year, or maybe late 20, I want to say it was last year, possibly late 2020.
Within the last 2 years.
It's been within the last 2 years, yes.
And originally, that zoning was changed in
That zoning was, well, that zoning was,
1950, what, 19?
well, I don't know. That zoning was industrial when it was in Ray Township.
Okay, all right.
I'll make a motion to approve the zoning
Um,
request.
You want to make a motion to approve rezoning from R1 to industrial?
Yep.
Anybody want to second that?
Second.
Mr. Smiles, I think, got in first. So the motion before us is to change the property at 32 Mile Road from R1 to industrial. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
One opposition, Mr. Grandstaff. So the motion passes. Anybody have any other business they want to add, although it doesn't seem like it, so I'm going to call for a unanimous vote to adjourn this meeting. That's it.